Well, first of all, I'd like to acknowledge my sweet wife, Robin, who's here with me. We'll be married 18 years next month. That is my baby from my youth. And Brooke and Dr. Leininger and all the staff members from TPPF and board members, thank you for having me. And I'm very glad to be here with you all here in this joyous new year. And I'm very humbled to be able to stand on the stage and to address you. I'm humbled to be before my colleagues in the House and in the Senate. Y'all know how much I love you. You know how much I appreciate you. And thank you for your encouragement and being here. And one of my friends from my childhood, from 7th grade, is here, Bruce Scott, who's sitting right here. So I'm under a lot of pressure. He's been knowing me for a long time. But anyway, hey, you know what? I'm not Mike Dicker. I'm not the coach. And John Smith, he told me, he said, you know what, I think you're tougher than Mike Dicker. And I said, I think I am. I'm not him. I'm just Scotty T, but I'm here. And it's my prayer and it's my hope that the word and the message and a few examples from my own life experience that I share with you today will be an encouragement, an exhortation, if you will. And then in the end, to offer up a challenge for all of us. The new year, Happy New Year, by the way, the new year always brings great opportunity for reflection, for contemplation. It brings great opportunity for us to take an assessment of our lives, our families, our careers, our ministries, those things that we do on a daily basis. It gives us an opportunity to ask ourselves, what did I accomplish in the past year? In what areas did I grow? And in what areas, if you're honest, did I fall short? It gives us an opportunity, more importantly, to say, where am I headed? Where am I going today? What is your vision? What are your goals? What is your heart's desire? When I was a kid, 10 years old, that wasn't that long ago. I'm 41 now. I'll be 42 next month, and I'm grateful for it. I'm one step closer to glory. But anyway, when I was 10 years old, my heart's desire was to play in the National Football League. I wanted to be like Tony Dorsett. I wanted to go to SMU and be a part of the Pony Express like my friend. And one day, I was standing on the threshold of the front door of our home. Mama and I were on one side, and my daddy was on the other. And I knew that something was wrong. I knew that this here was not normal, didn't feel right. And in the midst of the fragmentation, the tearing apart, if you will, of my family unit, I looked at my mama and I said, Mama, one day I'm going to play in the NFL and I'm going to take care of you. And she said, you can do it. Well, I lived with my mom for a little while, and then I moved in with my father, about 13 years old, and I played football in junior high, ran track, played football in high school and ran track. I was always a two-sport guy, but I also did very well in school because I understood that one day sports would end, but that my mind and my education could take me further than my feet could ever take me. And so I was at football practice one day, and I'm reminded of this brief story. I'm at football practice one day at the J.J. Pierce High School. Anybody heard of J.J. Pierce in Richardson? I'm a Richardson boy. I'm a local kid. I'm at football practice one day, and my father pulls up. And Craig, this was very unusual because my dad always worked 2 jobs. He's been working at Mrs. Bear's for 35 years to this day. And we had a janitorial business cleaning up, daycare centers and banks and whatnot. And so he always was at work, but he showed up on this particular day. And I said, Daddy, what are you doing here? I know you didn't come to watch practice because we're done. He said, get in the car. I said, well, where are we going? He said, I'm taking you to work. I said, I don't have a job. He said, you do now. So he took me to this place called Spring Creek Barbecue. Anybody ever heard of Spring Creek Barbecue? Well, he took me to Spring Creek. It took me in the back room. We couldn't even go in the front door. We went in the back door. I knew I was in trouble then. And the manager came out with 2 white plastic robes, the kind you can get wet. How many know what my job was? Dishwasher. And this manager handed my father one robe, and he handed me the other. He said, son, welcome to Spring Creek Barbecue. You're the new dishwasher. And I looked at him. I said, man, do you know who I am? I said, my name is Scott Turner, number 42 for J.J. Pierce, running back. I scored all the touchdowns. How many know I didn't have any humility? He said, boy, you better put this robe on. So I put it on. And my daddy taught me. It's about 4:30, restaurant pretty empty. And my daddy taught me, he said, you got to have a system by which you wash the dishes. Wash your pots and your pans, your silverware, and then all your glassware. And you keep up, but you got to have a system. It was a conveyor belt with 2 big old sinks, and I'm spraying them off. I'm watching them. And then he took his robe off and left. Well, it's about 5:30, so I get a few dishes coming in from the bus boys. 6 o'clock, 6:30. If anybody has ever worked in the restaurant industry, everybody in the restaurant got up and left at one time. And if you're a bus boy or a dishwasher, that is a nightmare, especially if it's your first day. So long story short, I'm back there washing dishes, trying to keep up. System is gone, Ron. I had lost the whole system. And I'm falling behind Mr. Darby, and the boys are coming back there saying all kind of bad things to me in all kind of languages, and I'm crying, and I'm like, oh, my gosh. So I take the robe off, and I threw it in the trash. Picked up the phone and called my dad. We didn't have cell phone back then. I picked up the restaurant phone, called my dad. Hey, man, come get me. I'm not washing these dishes. He said, Scott Turner? I said, yes, sir. He said, you will not quit. Not today, not ever. And he hung the phone up in my face. What? No, you didn't. But I thank the Lord that he hung up on me that day, because I never quit anything from that day until now. So here I am in football, high school. I get a scholarship to the University of Illinois. And a lot of people say, well, you're being recruited by all these schools in Texas, all these big schools around the country. Why would you go to the University of Illinois? And I said, because they let me run track and play football too. See, in 1990, schools in Texas didn't want you to be a two-sport athlete as a freshman. But I thank the Lord I went to Illinois, because that's where I met my bride. And so I'm here at Illinois on a football scholarship, and I'm also running track. And while at Illinois, the first 3 years there, I couldn't even get on the field. Now here I am, a top recruit, a track star, a running back. In my own mind, I'm the best running back at the school, and I can't even get on the field. They say you're a great athlete. We just don't know where to put you. Now you see what's wrong with these coaches and these teams today. But anyway, we're going to move on. How you going to be a great athlete and can't get on the field? And they got all these smart coaches, know all this paperwork and all these things. But anyway, y'all know I'm scarred. Well, I'm All-American in track, multiple Big Ten champion in the 400 meters, 45, 44 seconds in the 100. But track was extra credit. Football was the vision. Football was the dream. Football was the ticket. 3 years, couldn't get on the field, and on top of that, suffered a broken jaw, missed 8 games of another year. How many know my dream was fading away? Didn't look too good for a kid who had 1 year left in college, 1 year left to play, to fulfill the dream that he told his mama on the threshold that one day I will play in the NFL. Well, my coach, Sherman Smith, played 9 years in the NFL, 6'3", 235-pound running back, right? Like my man Craig. He walked up to me one day, he said, if you get the opportunity to switch to defensive back, take it. Now, mind you, I've been playing running back all my life and receiver. I have never backpedaled a day in my life. And they come to me and they say, son, we want to move you to defensive back. I said, I'll take it. The very first time that I backpedaled in live competition, it was the spring game at the University of Illinois. 16,000 blue and orange students out there. They don't even know about football. They just screaming and yelling. They could just get out of class and come to the game. Well, we out there, and y'all, the very first time in that live competition that I backpedaled, I failed. Fell down. Humiliation was horrible. My boys on the team say, you want to play in the NF of what? You can't even backpedal. But as soon as I hit the ground, boom, I got back up. Kept on backpedaling. Why? Because I had a vision. I had a dream. Well, I won the starting position from one of my best friends, a 4-year starter. I won. I started the whole year, led the team in interceptions and tackles from defensive back. So here we are, number 1 defense in the country. Simeon Rice, Kevin Hardy, Dana Howard, John Hollisack, all first and second round potential draft picks, and then little old Scotty T starting over here on the right corner. I didn't have a lot of names, but I was a starter. We the number 1 defense. NFL Combine. Anybody heard of the Combine? Let me see your hands. The NFL, now they have it on TV. See, back then it wasn't on TV, it wasn't even on the radio. But the NFL Combine, they bring all the potential NFL players or draft picks to come to Indianapolis, Indiana, to try them, to test them, to see how fast and strong and how smart they are, how flexible they are. And they bring all these potential kids, 1 million people in the NCAA that play college football. 300 invitations go out to the Combine. How many know you got to be bad to the bone to go to the Combine? But you also have to be invited. So here I am, a starter on the number 1 defense. I know I'm going to the Combine. I'm the fastest person on the field. So I started looking in the mailbox. Boom, for my invitation. Every day, because the invitation was starting to come. All my boys, they were getting their invitation. So I would go home and go to class and come home and look in the mailbox. Boom, nothing. Like, man, maybe it's a typo. Maybe I don't have my address right. Something. I know I'm getting invited every day. Boom, nothing. 2 weeks. Have you ever been looking for something and it never came? Let me see. You ever expecting somebody and they never showed up? Another opportunity to throw in the towel. The dream began to fade. The dream began to seem as if this is just the way that it's going to be. So all my buddies drove to Indianapolis, Indiana, and they threw me their keys. Say, hey, man, watch my apartment while I'm gone to the Combine. Really? I'm trying to go to the Combine, too. I don't want to watch your apartment. But by then, I had grown in my faith and grown in my relationship with the Lord. And I said, you know what? This is a great opportunity to exercise godly humility. Give me the key. So I watched their apartments while they were gone. They went to Indianapolis. I went to class, finished my degree. Well, this time when I came home from class, I didn't even look in the mailbox. I put my workout clothes on. And I jumped in my 1987 Maxima with no windshield wipers. And I drove over to Memorial Stadium. That's the stadium there in Champaign, Illinois. Memorial Stadium was 3 tiers, sat about 88,000 people, big stadium for that day. It's February. It's cold in Illinois. And I went over to that stadium all by myself. No one there encouraging me. No one there saying, hey, you can do it. Matter of fact, everybody said, you're crazy. You're not going to the NFL Combine. It's Indianapolis. This is Champaign. I didn't want to hear all that chatter. I shut it out. And I stood at the bottom of that stadium. And I looked up to the top. And I said, I'm going to get from here to there as fast as I can. I took a boom, 1 step at a time, 2 by 2, 3 by 3, over and over from the bottom to the top, over and over again. One time I was coming down, I couldn't even feel my legs. And I tripped on the concrete step because there was ice on it. And I rolled down the last tier. Head bleeding, body bruised, humiliated. People sitting up in the suites watching. Look at this fool. What is he doing? He's not going to the NFL. Everybody will not believe in your dream. Everybody does not share the same vision that you have. People say, well, why did you do it? Because I had a vision. I had a dream. I knew what I was supposed to do. I knew where I was supposed to go. It may not be the same route that everybody else says. It may not be the prototypical NFL player route or journey, but nonetheless, I knew where I was going. So I ran and I kept running. Well, my agent called. Said, Scotty T, 22 teams are coming to the University of Illinois. Combine is over, and they want to have a second look at the guys that came to the Combine. And they said, if you want to work out for them, you can too, so they threw me a bone. Well, these 22 teams came to Illinois, Washington, Jaguars, Carolina, San Francisco, Green Bay, all these boys, all this paraphernalia, all the guys just like this, like, wow. Well, the litmus test in the NFL is a 40-yard dash. And they say, we want to see how fast you boys are. They didn't know me from Adam. But they also didn't know I had been running them stupid steps. And so they come and all my boys ran. And then it came my time to run. They said, man, who is this kid? What's his name? Oh, Turner, come on, man. As if I'm wasting their time. And so when I came up, I stood on the starting line. And I looked to the finish line. And I didn't see 22 men. I saw 22 stopwatches. Said, I'm going to get from here to there as fast as I can. It's over. That's about how fast it was. And across the finish line, all I heard him say was, woo! 4-2-2, 4-2-4, 4-2-3, 4-2-5. If y'all don't know, that's fast, baby, right? And they looked at me, they said, boy, where have you been? I said, what? I've been here the whole time. You didn't send my invitation. How old was I when I told my mom I was going to the NFL? How old? 10. I was 23 when I ran that time in that 40. How many years is that? 13 years of preparation for 4.2 seconds. 13 years of persevering. 13 years of not throwing in the towel. 13 years of saying yes when everyone else said no. 13 years for 4 seconds. Changed our life. How about you today? How long are you willing to hold on to your dream, to your vision, to the call that you have on your life? I was not willing to throw in the towel. I was not willing to take no for an answer. Every step I took on that stadium, I grew stronger physically, stronger emotionally, stronger mentally, stronger spiritually. I would quote scripture day by day, step by step. And I thank God for that time. I thank Him. You may be facing a situation in your life right now. We all look good. We all look handsome and pretty in here, but I'm going to take this little side moment. You may be facing a situation in your life right now that is like Memorial Stadium. Seems insurmountable, seems impossible. How am I going to get over this hump? How am I going to get through this hardship in my life? My kids are wayward, my finances are bad, my marriage is slipping. You might be there today. Fear and anxiety, discouragement and anger may have crept their head and it's coming upon you this moment. Let me encourage you. Get up out of that bed of discouragement. Roll up off of that couch of despair and anxiety and put your feet on the ground. Put your fighting clothes on. You look that thing head on and you trust God and you get to stepping. I am a living witness that it will work for you. I promise you. Well, I went upstairs to the coach's office. Everybody's so excited. Secretaries screaming and makeup running. Everybody's so happy because they knew the struggle that it had been. But one coach came out of his office, and he was the defensive coordinator, the coach for whom I laid my life down every week. He said, what is all this racket? Why are y'all yelling and screaming? What is going on? I said, Coach, I ran a 4.2. He said, so what? I'm talking about a buzzkill. I looked at him, I said, Coach, I ran a 4.2. He said, Scotty, you'll never play in the NFL. He said, you'll never get drafted, son. You're too small. You only played corner for 1 year. Coach, I ran a 4.2. He said, you'll never play. Well, I looked at him, I said, Coach, with all due respect, my faith is not in you, but my faith is in the Lord Jesus. And I said, second of all, I told my mama I was going to the NFL. I'm going. You tell your mama something, you better keep your word. April 22nd, 1995, the Washington Redskins rang my phone. They say, we want to draft you pick number 226 in the 7th round. Do you want to be a part of our team? I said, yes, and I hung up before they can change their mind. Many people say, well, why you didn't play for the Cowboys? Because the Cowboys didn't call me. I needed a job. I had a new wife. It's time to go get on. But why do I share this story? Because I love Texas. And I love America. And as you and I go, so goes Texas. And as Texas goes, so goes America. And in order for Texas to be the very best that Texas can be, you and I have got to be the best that we can be. Matters not if you're a Democrat or a Republican, male or female, black or white, younger or older, lobbyist, staff member, or elected official. I'm talking to people who are freedom-minded, liberty-loving, hard-working, God-fearing people. That's you and I. In order for you and I to be the very best that we can be, in order for Texas to be the very best that it can be, in order for America to be the very best that it can be, then the chains of complacency and the shackles of status quo have got to be destroyed. Are you hearing me? I'll say it again. The chains of complacency and the shackles of status quo have got to be destroyed. Those things that hinder you, those things that keep you, those things that bind you from moving on, from going onward and upward, those things that keep you from persevering, those things that obscure and blind your vision have got to come loose. But it all depends on how serious you are. It all depends on how great we really want to be. In my business, in our business, lip service got you cut. The film does not lie. Not about talk. It's about doing. Putting your feet to the ground. Who would want to be? What's hindering you? We cannot settle for those things that are subpar. We cannot settle for things nor people who hold us or keep us from doing what we know we ought to do. You say, well, Scotty, this is just how it's going to be. This is just my life. This is just how our state is going to be. Deal with it. No, says who? Not me. If I'd have accepted that sentiment in my life a long time ago, Charles Perry, I would not be standing before you today. I promise. Because people told me, a young kid from a broken home, from a poor family, whose daddy was a janitor and worked with Miss Bears on the route, kids like you don't succeed in life. You're just a blip on the radar screen. No, sir. I serve a mightier God than that. My vision is greater than that. Doesn't have to be that way unless we don't do something about it. You as an individual, me as an individual, us collectively. We need a paradigm shift. We need a mindset change in Texas and America today. Here lately, Texas has been lauded and applauded as the best state in the country to do business. Best for job growth, best for the business environment, and all of us are very, very proud of that accomplishment. But I want to take it to the next level. And I pose this question and this challenge to all of us today. Is that good enough? Are we satisfied with that? Instead of being ranked in just one category, why not be ranked number one in all of the categories? Why not be ranked number one in math and science, career and technology, juvenile justice? How about tax savings for our citizens? Let us be ranked number one in all the categories. Let's be the very best we can be. Not just number one in the country, but the best we can be. Every day, you and I together. One of my great friends played 20 years in the NFL as a cornerback. And he ran and competed and won the NFL's fastest man 4 years in a row. This was in the 80s and the early 90s. He ran and he competed and won 4 out of 4. That's an amazing feat. He never lost. And I asked him one day, I said, well, man, how fast did you run? He said, I just ran fast enough to win. I don't really know how fast I am. And I thought about that. For us as individuals, for us as Texas, I don't want to just run fast enough to win, but I want us to run the very fastest we can. Don't leave nothing on the table. Leave it all on the field. Give everything you have as an individual and, yes, collectively. And I got news for you. It's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of the creativity, all of the innovativeness, all of the talent, all of the skill. We're going to have to take risk, think outside the box. And for all you business people in here, you understand what I'm saying. And we might fail just a little bit, but we won't stay down long. We'll get back up. Question is, are you willing? Let's all take inventory and see if we're giving our utmost for the assignment or the call that we've been given. We need servant leaders, y'all. That's the bottom line. People who are willing to lay their life down for others. People who are willing to consider the interests of others more than their own. People who live by conviction and principle and not by the waves of the sea or what's popular on this day or the other. People who are willing to live by godly humility. Servant leaders. Let's take inventory and see if that's us. I read a quote one time, and I'll close with this. And it said this, the author is unknown. The external affairs of a nation will be directly affected by the condition of the hearts of its people. The external affairs of a nation will be directly affected by the condition of the hearts of its people. Well, I say the external affairs of Texas will be directly affected by the condition of the hearts of its people. Where's your heart today? The trains of transformation are on the move. Are you on board? As we go, so goes Texas. As Texas goes, so goes America. We got to be all in. Not just for us, but for those that are coming behind us. Where are you today? God bless you.